In this video, I'm going to show you how to get started and perform your first mixes with your DJ controller. For this tutorial, we're using the DDJ-FLX2 from Alpha Theta. If you've just unboxed this controller, you can follow along step by step with the exact music used throughout the lesson. To do this, simply sign up and we'll send our Crossfader music pack directly to your email address. After that, come back and follow along. We're going to go from plugging in to performing, all within this one video. Let's get stuck in. First of all, with the Flex 2 being a flexible controller, it's in the name, it works with multiple different setups and options. First of all, the connectivity. You can see here we have a Bluetooth connection and we also have a wired connection. So the first thing you're going to want to decide is how you want to connect to your device. Now, I've got here, it works with an iPad, it works with a mobile, and it also works with a laptop. Now the laptop needs to be connected via a USB cable. In the box, you are provided a USB-C to C cable, and that simply plugs into the only port on the back, the USB-C port, and that would then connect to your laptop. This both powers the device and works as the DJ software, which we'll talk about shortly. If you don't have a laptop or don't choose to use a laptop with it, then you can plug a USB-C cable directly into an iPad or a mobile as well, and that will power the device. Now, if you're doing it that way, then the audio options change, which I'm going to show you shortly. However, just let me run through the Bluetooth connectivity first. Now I've got iPad here showing the Rekordbox app, which has been downloaded from the App Store, and that is free to use. It comes with the Alpha Theta DDJ-FLX2. There are paid subscriptions within there to unlock more features, but you don't need them right away. And then on the mobile here, I've got DJ by Algorithm. This DJ Pro application has been one of the longest standing apps for DJs, and it works really well with the DDJ-FLX2. Again, there are some paid upgrades that you can make, but you don't need it out of the box. To connect, you would need to power the Flex 2 directly to the mains. So this cable that comes in the box, you would need to connect it to like a mains adapter, depending on where you are in the world, and then just plug it directly into the back. I've just used my MacBook cable here for reference. If you're using the Rekordbox app, you would tap this Rekordbox logo at the top, tap Bluetooth, and then just choose DDJ-FLX2. It will then connect to the Flex 2. You'll see this sort of display screen come up, and the view changes somewhat. Now you're in control and the audio is being played out of the iPad. That is where, if you wanted to get the audio on louder speakers, you would then need to have some kind of adapter on your tablet and then plug in this. You would have an RCA, which is the red and white cable that goes to your powered speakers, to a headphone jack cable, which is an 1/8" jack. And then that could go into the adapter, which would go into either your mobile device or your tablet. And then these would go to the speakers, and then you would get the loud audio coming out of the speakers with the Bluetooth connection to the controller. So that is option one. Just to quickly run through on DJ Pro by Algorithm, you would tap their DJ logo at the top and then scroll down to MIDI devices within the settings tab, and then go to Bluetooth MIDI devices, and again, just tap DDJ-FLX2. Then, once it's connected, you can press back, press done, and then you can load songs in, and you'll see that I now have control over this song on the controller here. Same principle applies. If you've connected via Bluetooth, you would need an adapter and to get the audio out louder. Now, if you're connecting to a laptop, you can simply unplug the power from the mains. I can plug in this cable here and go directly to the laptop. Once I plug it in, it might ask me to allow the connection. That's fine. It'll then power the device, but the audio, you have an option now. You can have the audio to come out of the actual unit via the hardware, and we have these icons here, the speaker and the headphones, and you can plug in that exact same cable. So we can have this cable here, so that would plug in to the side, and then this would go to your speakers. Or we can choose to use the audio output if you are using Rekordbox, which, don't worry, I'm going to talk about software in a minute. If you tick this icon here, then the music will come out of your laptop speakers. So you've got the option there for both, unlike with a Bluetooth connection. If you do choose to use an external cable and plug this into some loudspeakers, then obviously ensure that the volume is turned up on the side of the unit. It's the little dial next to it, and you can turn off this icon, the laptop speaker icon within Rekordbox. Headphones work in exactly the same way. So I've got some headphones here. It's got, again, the small 1/8 inch jack that plugs directly into the headphone port, and it works in the same way, so I can control the volume on the side here. Just while we're talking about headphones, it's these buttons here which will activate the different channels in the headphones, but don't worry about that right away. The next thing people usually ask is, well, which DJ software or app should I use? There are so many options. Now, this is a video in and of itself, so I'm not going to dive too deep in today's video because I want to get you mixing. However, the Rekordbox ecosystem is the same company who developed the controller. They make the software as well. So it's a good choice if your end goal is to move from something like this, the Flex 2, to eventually be on the Pioneer DJ CDJs in clubs. That ecosystem will start to feel familiar, especially the Rekordbox on laptop version. The Rekordbox mobile app is a bit different, but you can transfer music between the two and kind of work between the laptop and the mobile app as well. So that's a good choice if that is your end goal. Then you've got DJ by Algorithm. Now this is the only DJ app that supports Apple Music, the Apple streaming service for music. No other DJ app does. So if you already own Apple Music, it might make sense to start with that software because you can access all of your music and playlists that you have in Apple Music. If you don't have Apple Music, it's still a very powerful software. It's not to say that's the only reason to choose it. It's been around a lot longer than the Rekordbox mobile app, and it's probably much more robust than the Rekordbox mobile app. So if you really want to just use a mobile or an iPad, I definitely say explore the DJ Pro app by Algorithm. It's also got things like stem separation in there. They call it neural mix, which allows you to separate things like the vocals and the instruments and the drums in real time while you're mixing, which is a really cool feature. And then moving over to the laptop, you've got Rekordbox like I mentioned, but you also have Serato DJ Lite and Serato DJ Pro, which is another huge DJ application. The Pro version will need an extra paid license, but the Serato DJ Lite, the good thing about that is it's really beginner friendly. It has that stem separation in there, like I mentioned with DJ Pro. So does Rekordbox as well, but Serato DJ Lite is super beginner friendly. It's really easy interface to get you started. Now, most DJs that use Serato eventually lean into the style of DJing where they would upgrade to turntables and maybe be more interested in scratching, open format mashup, DJ mixing, playing lots of different genres and really getting creative using turntables. But if you're a straight up club DJ that wants to mix more house, techno, electronic genres, a lot of those DJs lean towards the Rekordbox ecosystem. But you can have a play around with them all and see which fits your style the most. For the rest of the tutorial, we're going to be using Rekordbox on the laptop. I have it directly connected to the controller, both powering it and the audio coming out of the laptop. I'm going to keep the iPad with the Rekordbox mobile app and the DJ app open here on my phone, just to reference some points. But for all intents and purposes, the process is the same. The only thing that's a bit different is at this stage is getting music into your software. So if you've downloaded the Crossfader music pack, within Rekordbox, you want to ensure that you're in performance mode, which can be found here. You don't need to pay for any subscription to Rekordbox. It unlocks when you plug it directly into the Alpha Theta Flex 2. There are paid upgrades for different features, but you don't need it to get started. Then a few things to draw your attention to. We have this view of playlists here, and we can toggle between these different icons to go from what we call our collection to playlists to some of the streaming services. You can see SoundCloud, Beatport and BeatSource, plus our laptop Explorer. That's something where we're going to find the files to get them into the software. Then we've got this section here, which is basically everything that's within the playlist or the collection. So these are the songs that have been imported into my Rekordbox. Up at the top, we have the two players and then the two waveforms. And this is a pretty standard layout for Rekordbox. Now, you will have downloaded potentially the Crossfader music pack, or you have some music on your laptop. You then need to click on this icon here to explore through your laptop or your hard drive. You can see here I'm in the music folder in Crossfader music pack. I could import the whole music pack by right clicking and import as a playlist. It will just put all the songs and everything underneath that into a playlist. I could go deeper into the levels. I could import just the 2021 as a playlist, or individual songs. I could select individual ones, right click, and I could add to a playlist there as well. So there's multiple options. Now, the idea is you want to get it out of Explorer and into Rekordbox, and that will analyze the files and add some information. That's the thing that Rekordbox does, or your DJ software even. Then, once you've got it in a playlist, you can see here I've got Crossfader Music Pack, and I've got all the different playlists within there. This is a folder. If you want to start managing your music further, you can right click and create a new playlist or a folder and drag and drop things within one another. Then I've got the music in there. When you import the music, it will automatically analyze it and add things like the BPM, which you can see here on the player and here in the library. It'll give you the key, and it'll give you some other information such as the waveform. Now, if you can't see all this information, you can right click on the header here and show different column headers that you can make appear on your library view. Now, this is getting deep into Rekordbox to start with. You can simply either drag and drop or use that file explorer to drag your files into the Rekordbox software. However, if you're using a mobile app or the phone app, then you can simply, I'd recommend using a streaming service. We have some of the Crossfader Music Pack on SoundCloud. So if I just get that like this, you tap on the player at the top here, then you've got different options from the drop down from Rekordbox to SoundCloud, Beatport and Tidal. If you do sign up for SoundCloud, look out for and search for the Crossfader Music Pack where these songs are actually featured, but you can access millions of songs from different services there, and you just click on a song to load it. Same on DJ, just tap the player at the top, and then you can scroll through using this drop down, and you can scroll through to different services such as SoundCloud, like I just mentioned, Tidal, Beatport, BeatSource, or files on your device, or even Apple Music. You then just simply tap on any of the songs to load it to one of the decks, and then do the same on the opposite side. Now that you've got your music into your software, it's all about understanding the hardware and getting mixing. Pretty much all pieces of DJ hardware consist of two decks you find here and here, with a mixer sandwiched in the middle. The decks first, let's have a look at. You'll notice these are called jog wheels, and these allow you to nudge a track faster or slower temporarily. They also allow you to scratch a song if you use the top of the jog wheel. The cue and the play button are really important for DJs. Play is pretty obvious, it plays the song, but the cue button is really important because it takes us back to the start of the song to potentially re-cue up, which means restart from a certain position. If I hold the cue button, it plays the song. I could then tap the play button to take my hand off. But you'll see a lot of DJs getting their timing by tapping the cue button, holding it down, and then pressing play to try and get it in time with the opposite side. If you do press play and then pause and try to go back using a cue, it sets a new cue point. If that's the case, you can just use the jog wheel to scroll back, and then on the beat that you want, tap the cue button and it will reset the cue. The tempo adjust here allows you to speed the song up and slow it down. So if we come towards the plus icon, you will see on the screen that the BPM starts getting faster. If we go the opposite way, it gets slower. The BPM is ultimately how many beats there are in every minute. If it's at 128 BPM, which is this 0 position, this is the speed that the song has been produced at, it will have 128 beats within every minute. Therefore, if we go faster, it would now have 135.68 beats in every minute. Now, you might find that your range is different, and this is something to be aware of in Rekordbox. You can click this icon here from plus or minus 6 to 10 to 16 or wide. Now make sure you're not on wide, because then you'll end up being able to speed it up and slow it down by such a drastic amount, it makes it really hard to mix with. So I'd recommend switching it back to plus or minus 6 to make sure that you've got good control over the BPM of the music. The same thing is over on the Rekordbox app. We've got this plus or minus 10. If you tap the BPM here, it brings up these other options, and you can toggle between the same settings, 10, wide, 6, and you can change that on there. Again, the same on the DJ app. If you tap on the BPM, you then get the range coming up here, 8%, 10%, 16%, and you can choose the range in which that BPM can be controlled. So again, a few things to be aware of. The other thing to be aware of within the software is this MT, which is short for master tempo. It's also known as key lock in other software. This basically locks the key of the song even if you speed it up or slow it down. This is really useful, especially when starting out, because it locks the key so you can mix and key easier, but also it means it doesn't sound as obvious when you nudge it. So it's just something, it's personal preference, but at this stage I'd probably recommend keeping it on. If you have a listen, if I go to the plus icon, the track gets faster. Now if I turn this off, it goes up in pitch. Turn it back on. That's the original pitch of the song, but I can make it slower or faster. When I've turned it off, you get this weird effect. So I'd recommend putting that on. Again, on this software, we tap on the BPM and it's a little musical note next to the tempo adjust. The same on DJ Pro. There's a little musical note next to the tempo adjust. Going back to the jog wheel, this is a temporary adjustment. So if the song is playing and I move it clockwise using the edge, it will temporarily speed up the song until I stop, or the opposite way, it slows it down. But as soon as I stop doing that action, it goes back to the original speed, which is 128 BPM of the song. The jog wheels are useful for getting the timing right and nudging songs in and out of time. We dive deep into beat matching, timing, and really getting to grips with taking control of your music within our complete Flex 2 beginner course, with over 50 lessons, with a huge section on getting comfortable with beat matching and mixing. Moving back to the mixer, I'd recommend at this stage just ensuring your mixer looks just like this, with the crossfader in the center, both of the up faders at the top. These are volume controls for each channel or each deck, and then everything else at that 12 o'clock position. These are our EQs and these are our effects, all set at 12 o'clock. Then you should be able to hear some sound. When you press play, you should be able to hear some sound. If you knock the crossfader across, you won't be able to hear this deck playing. If this is down, you won't be able to hear it playing. If any of these are down, you might not be able to hear it playing. So just some things to watch out for. I suppose the last things at this stage is to understand what the master output is and the headphone output. The master output is the thing that's either plugged in here or basically playing out of your laptop speakers. If you've got a cable plugged in here, that is the master output, and it will play whatever's coming from the mixer, whether both faders are up or one fader's up. Everything comes out of there to your speakers. Just ensure that that's turned up and you can hear the volume. If you're playing it out of your laptop, just ensure that you obviously have your laptop volume turned up. The other thing are the headphone controls. So for the headphones to work, you would plug them into the unit, such as here, and then you would use these to activate different channels, such as channel 1 or channel 2 in the headphones. This allows DJs to preview what song they want to play next and make sure that they're in time before bringing the track out loud. Again, make sure your headphone volume is correct there. If you are using it over Bluetooth, however, such as with an app or with a mobile, then just be aware that you will need a splitter cable, and there's some options within the settings to pre-cue from the actual app itself, and it sends some of the audio out of one side of the splitter cable, which is your master, and some of the audio out of the other side of the cable, which is your headphone cue. What's common for DJs when using headphones is to have one song playing out loud. This is the song that the audience can hear, and then the other cue activated in the headphones, that's channel 2. And this means that if I do play this song now, you cannot hear it out of the master because it's not turned up, but you can hear it within the headphones. And that just then allows you to listen and preview in the headphones to the song that you're about to mix in. This master will bring in whatever's playing out of the master, so this channel, into the headphones as well. Or you can just have 1 and 2 on, which will play both of the decks in the headphones at the same time, regardless of whether these faders are up or down. It will just play it at full volume. So that's your options for headphone cueing. The next thing to understand is a bit of music theory. And again, we dive deep into music theory in the Flex 2 Beginner course to help you really build those foundational skills as a DJ. But something to keep in mind is the way that music is structured, and it's structured within something called a 4x4 time signature. And ultimately that means you can break any song down into various parts, such as the intro, the breakdown, the build up, the drop section, the outro. All of these parts are almost like building blocks, and they're all roughly the same length on nearly all songs that you're going to be DJing with. So this then means we can layer those sections together and mix them in phrase. This is how this would sound, and this is the first mix that you would apply and have fun with using these 2 tracks. we will go towards the outro section of one song and get ready to press play on the intro section of another song. Now, before I do this, I'm going to match the BPMs and just do this visually. Like I said, we dive deep in the course to train your ears how to do this without the visuals. But using the visuals, let's put both of these songs to 128 BPM. So I'm making the deck on the right slightly faster to match the deck on the left so that both songs are 128 BPM. Don't be alarmed, it says 128.01. That's such a minuscule amount, you don't need to worry about that second decimal place at this stage. They'll stay in time for a long time. Then we need to practice pressing play on beat. What we're going to do is just use that visual reference for now, but it's worth also having them in the headphones too and listening for where the drop comes in. So we're going to put the headphones on. We would listen maybe with one cup over one ear. If we're just previewing in one headphone, one of the channels, then we can hear what's going on out loud. We press play, get ready to catch the beat. 4, 3, 2, 1, play. This is where we would then use the jog wheel to nudge it in time, make sure it's correct, before bringing it out loud. Now, because of the phrasing, it's going to allow us to mix really seamlessly. Let's fade it up now. And now I'm going to start fading the opposite side out. And you'll notice both tracks change at the same time. 4, 3, 2, and they both changed at the same time. And that's because of the phrasing. Now we can improve that mix somewhat by using the EQs and the CFX, which at the moment is set on a filter. So we're going to step it up. We're going to introduce some other features here to just tweak that first mix of yours. Let's go back to where we were, and I'll pause it there. Re-cue the song back up on the right hand side. Now for this, what we're going to do, and a good rule of thumb, is take the low end EQ totally out. This will remove all the low frequencies in the music. So instead of it having a thumping kick, it removes that low end of the music. I'm also going to reduce the mid ever so slightly, just to take away some of the body and the harshness of the music ever so slightly. Then you can follow along, and we're going to mix this song in, swap the EQs over, mirror kind of how we started before mixing back out to just create a bit more of a seamless mix. Let's put that into practice. 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Ensure that we're on beat. Prepare the EQs, and then let's start fading. Slowly swapping the lows over. And then filtering down. Before getting rid of the fader. So that then completes our very first mix using the DDJ-FLX2, using some EQs and some filters and phrasing to get a really nice, clean, seamless mix. Now, all of this is condensed into one pretty short video, and if you really want to dive deep into each of these components and parts of the learning journey, of a DJ's journey to learning how to mix confidently with your own music, as well as the music we provide, then please make sure to check out the DDJ-FLX2 course. It's got over 50 lessons with interactive tutorials, all the music's provided, and it dives deep into some of these core skills that you need to learn as a DJ, with loads of drills and practice techniques that you can practice on a daily basis to train your ears, to train your understanding of music, and to ultimately allow you to put together awesome DJ sets. I really hope that from this video, you are able to get started as a DJ and perform your first mix. DJing is such a fun hobby to get stuck into, and I really hope that this has unlocked this journey, the start of the journey for you into creative mixing, because this is something we pride ourselves on at Crossfader, is the fact that you can take your ideas and your skills and lay them down using an entry-level piece of equipment like this. And if you want to see this put through its paces, really using it in a pretty advanced pro way in one of our performance mixes, just make sure to watch this video here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.